What's good with the YouTube? You already know Big Flacos with a convict perspective. What's good with it out there, man? As always, man, please hit the like and subscribe. Man, get that algorithm going, man. As always, man, I got the homie Shady Outlaw from 8 Trades Crips. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm good, bro. Just taking it one day at a time, man. Thanks for having me on here, man. To tell my perspective one more again on this platform, man. But I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, me and you were talking a little bit, right? We're talking about, being locked up, man, and going to YA and juvenile hall and then prison and the different types of, kind of at times how some people fall off, but then it's the ones that are always there that we always kind of take for granted at times, man. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right,
you were talking about, like, you just had a recent incident, man, and some recent issues, man. Please elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, man. I was just reaching. Every time it seemed like I reach out to, family members, man, and people I love, man, and get a world to, man. It seemed like every time I asked them to do something, or it could be something small, man. It seemed like they never had the time, or they got the time and don't want to do it, and I just be feeling like, damn, like, y'all know if you ask me for anything, or you do anything, I'm there, and I never, and since I was a kid, man, I never got that same love back, and I think that's why I reached out to the streets, man, to grab that love, from other people, because I never got it at the home, you know what I mean,
So like, being raised out in the streets, man, how hard was it, for your parents, growing up? Did you have two parents or no?
Yeah, I had two parents, but I didn't have two parents inside the home. My mom, she was on drugs. My dad, he left and went was in the army. So when he came back from the army, he tried to reach out and try to snatch me up, but my mom's side of the family had custody of me, and they had a stronghold. No, we ain't giving him up. It was all about money back then. You know what I'm saying? As I realized now, as I got older, and just viewed my life since I was a kid and going back to where we can remember, it was hard back in the 70s and 80s, man, when drugs first came out. You know what I mean?
This call is being recorded.
So yeah, I grew up in a broken home. Even though, like I said, I was raised by my grandmother. She was rough. You know what I'm saying? She had her ways of not letting me do this and not letting me do that. And I wanted my mom, man, and she was out there doing her thing. And shit, my dad wasn't around, so my first thing I did was, when I got the first opportunity, was ran out the door. You know what I'm saying? And never looked back.
Yeah. So, being out there in the streets at a young age, at 8 years old, what were the things that you were doing out there, man? Like, what was your childhood like, man?
It was like, shit, sleeping on porches. I started off sleeping on just different random people's porches, man, that I knew that I was kind of safe. I knew, in the neighborhood that when I used to walk to school, and, the people that used to always just reach out to me and talk to me, and, so when my first times out there, I used to sleep on different people's porches, and people used to take me in, and then I used to sleep with some of my homies' houses that, I used to sneak over their house and spend the night with their parents didn't know, wearing their clothes and shoes, and, you know what I'm saying? It was rough for me, man, because I was embarrassed too, and I was hurt, man, because it was like, I didn't have that love. I seen, some of my homies I was going to elementary school with have them parents and have that love of taking them to school and, picking them up and them playing out in the yard, and I didn't have that type of childhood, you know what I mean? So it was hard, but it went from hanging out all night, walking around, hanging out all night to snatching purses and, trying to find getting that dollar to give me something to eat or getting something out the store, or, so it was hard for me, man, until I got caught. my first crime. You know what I'm saying? And when I went to jail, that's when all hell broke loose.
So when was the first time that you actually went to juvenile hall or anything? What was it for?
I went for murder.
How old were you?
I was at 9 years old.
Tell us a little bit about that, man.
Yeah, but well, shit, I had seen, I used to, like I said, everybody in the neighborhood kind of pretty much functioned and knew each other. These same guys that's still around right now, they watched me grow up. They was like my big homies in the hood. So, they knew my family, because my family was family orientated in the hood too, as far as like, hanging out, uncles and my mom and all that. My grandmother, she sold drugs, back then too. So everybody in the neighborhood knew each other. So, one day, man, me and my little homie, we was walking around. I had a long butcher knife I had took out the kitchen, out the house. I had ran away with. Cause my grandmother, man, she was real mean, man. She was real strict. She wouldn't let me beat. She wouldn't let me play in the front yard. I had to always stay in the backyard and play. I couldn't have no friends over. My next door neighbor, which was my best friend at the time. I used to always see him and his cousins and sisters, and always playing in the front yard, playing basketball and playing football. And I used to have to always look over up the front gate, at the back gate, like damn, I couldn't even go out there because my grandmother, she was just so overprotective, man, like with everything, and it wasn't even being overprotected over me. It was being overprotected of just because the shit that she was doing as far as selling drugs and didn't want me to be out in the way. You know what I mean? So me and my best friend, we used to roam around. I ran away one day, took a butcher knife out the kitchen. We was running around, man, and went to the liquor store and seen some bums in the alley. You know what I'm saying? Now these bums we seen, I told my friend, like, hey man, we need some money, man, so we can get some out the store. Back then it was food stamps, and you cash in your food stamp, you get the change. So I told my best friend, like, hey, come on, man, like, let's see if these fools got some money. And he was like, come on. One of the bums ended up being a guy, man, that stayed on the same block as me. I knew him because he used to hang out with my mom all the time, in front of the liquor store, and they be drinking and, and shit. And so I approached him, and told him to give me some change. And he kind of like brushed me off like little nigga, get the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? And when he did that, man, I took the butcher knife out. I went in the rage. You know what I'm saying? Ran towards him and started stabbing him. You know what I mean? My little homie grabbed him. He tried to run. My little homie grabbed him.
This call is being recorded.
And while he grabbed him, I kept hitting him. I hit him about 25 times. And I didn't even realize, at the time, like, shit, the severity of that, man, because we ran off. I ran back home. I had, blood all on me, and my best friend, like I said, was my neighbor. Shit, he ran back home too. And next thing you know, man, like about 20 minutes later, shit, the police, you know what I'm saying? I guess, from like I said, everybody knew each other in that neighborhood, so they know who he was. They came straight to the house, man. You know what I'm saying? And my grandmother, she was kind of like, she was salty, man, because when the police came, she thought they was raiding because she, like I said, she sold drugs. You know what I'm saying? I ran to the backyard, and at that time, my uncle used to have a little tent in the back. I hid the knife in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? I hid it. You know what I'm saying? And I stayed in the back. I acted like I was in the backyard playing ball. You know what I mean? When they came. And, they came, and she came to the back with the police. They came, handcuffed me, man, and shit, I lost Padrinos, but that's when I first seen Los Padrinos.
How much time did you have to do for that?
Shit, I did from 9 till I was 19.
Oh, wow. So that's what you went to YA for, man. 9 years old, man.
Yeah.
So you really okay? That's when you went to juvenile. That's when you really had to. That's the first time juvenile hall, not everything, huh? Wow.
Juvenile hall, everything.
What man, bro? I mean, how much do you think that affected you later on in life?
Oh man, it affected me. I mean, it's like I done had man. I had nightmares, man. I used to wake up, man, thinking about this dude all the time. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I didn't, like I said, man, I didn't know. At the time, I didn't know what I was doing, man. I was just going off stories I would hear my uncles talk about, and you know what I'm saying, how they used to beat up dudes and take their stuff, and I'm hearing the stories, and so it was just like I want.
This call is being recorded.
It's like I wanted to have my own story to tell, and not knowing that what I was doing was going to affect me. You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, because anytime that my they look up in my file, it's on there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's a constant reminder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely. So I want to ask you a couple questions, right? For a lot of viewers, we got a lot of people from up north, down south. You know what I mean? Different types of ethnicities, New York, all kinds, East Coast, right? What is your understanding about the history of the Crips?
What's my understanding?
Yes.
Well, Crip started by two people, Raymond Washington and Stanley Tookie Williams.
Yeah.
Them two people is started. Raymond Washington started the East Side Crips, and Tookie Williams started West Side Crip.
Yeah. Okay.
They came together when they came first before the East Side was even thought about. It was on the West Side. You know what I mean? And it was Tookie Williams on the West Side, and he the one started everything on the West Side. As far as Crip goes, not the particular gangs. As far as Crip, nothing else. No like A-Trey, 60, none of that. He just started Crip, period. If it wasn't Crip first, it wouldn't even be nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So he the one started that initially, period, point blank. Nobody else.
Yeah. Okay. So what is it? What's the Crip stands for community? What does it stand for? Republic?
Crip didn't even have a meaning back then.
Okay.
The word was Cribs at first. Cribs. It was Cribs. They used to say Cribs, and then one day, one of Tookie's homies was like, "What's up, Crip?" And he was like, "What you say?" He's like, "What's up, Crip?" And that stuck. It stuck to where everybody just started saying Crip. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have a title meaning behind it.
This call is being recorded.
Because, back then, it wasn't no community, revolution, no enterprise and all that, because Crips wasn't they wasn't revolutionary. They wasn't like the black guerrilla families and the them dudes that was really into that revolutionary activity, like Malcolm X, and we wasn't servicing that. You know what I'm saying? It was only with the homies. It didn't have nothing to do with protecting your community or protecting your race, or it wasn't about none of that. So that meaning came later on. Some other dudes put a meaning to that didn't have nothing to do with Tookie though. So that's where people get it twisted and confused of the meaning. It never was no meaning to it. It never had no community represent, none of that. That came later on. When that came by some other guys who, started like, okay, Crip mean this. Crip mean that. And like that's how other gangs started. You know what I'm saying? Other dudes started putting meanings to, different things. That's how that started. Crip never had no meaning.
Yeah. So The Crip meaning though, was it only supposed to be traditionally for African Americans, or was it always open to other races from the get go?
It was only African when it first started off. It was only African Americans.
Okay.
And then there was a white boy that began what was a Tookie that was a Crip. So and his name was White Boy Eric, and he was I guess he was back in the days he was down, he was just like a brother. So people people like put him in, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because when I ask questions about when I used to ask questions about the history, I heard so many stories and different stories. I got a chance to talk to Tookie myself before he passed, you know what I'm saying? And that's what gave me the clarification on what Crip actually really where it came from, the meaning and how it stood out, because my ex-wife, that's her dad, you know what I'm saying? So I got a chance to, talk to him personally to find out, what Crip, what I'm representing, man. Well, where this actually come from, and he broke it down to me and told me where it came from.
Interesting. So, what have you seen in like the last say 35 years, the changes as far as in LA and the LA gang culture? What have you seen that's the most biggest difference today?
Everybody on drugs.
Oh, even the gang members, even the leadership too?
Even the leadership. The leadership is being...
This call is being recorded.
The leaders are on drugs.
Okay.
And people are following the people that's on drugs.
Okay.
They made it okay and accepted to be on drugs and, still try to lead, still try to, coach and steer people in a direction of, criminality and other things when you on drugs. How can you do any of that if you on drugs?
Yeah, most definitely. Now I want to touch on a very sensitive subject that a lot of people out there have been addressing. It's been the balateros, right? The carts, the Mexican carts, right? They've been getting jacked, robbed by some African gangs, by some Mexican gangs, man. And there was a real interesting video a couple of years ago. I think it was Hoover, where the Hoover got the two dudes that were involved in it and filmed it and showed these dudes going one-on-one, catching the fade for doing that shit, man. What is your actions about, like that kind of stuff going on out there in the community, man?
Right. You said the Hoover did
I think it was the Hoovers. I could be wrong. Okay, two of their youngsters robbed one of those paleteros, right? The Mexican food carts. Did him dirty, did all kinds of shit, right? So what they did is they ended up putting him on the two youngsters that did it. One of their OGs. They had both those dudes catch a fade one-on-one for doing that, and they filmed it. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff that's going on in the community and so forth, right? Do you think like stuff like I said before, it kind of puts strains on like the relationships between a lot of what you would say the essays and the black gangs? You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's been like a little bit of positive results on stuff like that, man. What do you? We've talked about this before, man. You know what I'm saying? We all face the same struggles out there, wherever block you're from. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I personally think that the system creates this division, bro, to keep us fucking at bay so we're blinded to all the fucking real shit that's going on in front of us, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I want to hear what your opinion was.
But my take on that is, I didn't know it was so much problems with black and brown until I got incarcerated, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you said, the system.
This call is being recorded.
The system puts that, that segregation, that, you can't do this, you can't do that, with each each other, you know what I mean, it's more profound in jail than on the streets. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't pay attention to that until I first came to jail when, you know, my people's like, oh man, you can't, you gotta sit over here. That's they side. And I'm like, damn, oh, you can't use that phone. That's their phone. I'm like, man, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? I tripped off that, like, and then you know, I started learning, and I started, you know, just keying in and watching and observing what was going on around me. And it was, like I said, it was more of a, it's more of a things that done relatedly happened between hoods out there who had really had beef with each other. So when you come to jail now, you know, we all, it's like crabs in a burrow that's all in trying to climb to the top. You know what I'm saying? But we snapping each other back down one by one. You know what I mean? You know, just snapping each other back down. And when the Florencias got into it with the East Coasters, that was the biggest trademark of blacks and Hispanics getting into it.
Yeah.
You know, that right there shook the nation, man, because motherfuckers was dying, man, and then people in prison was getting stabbed. You know what I'm saying? And it got so bad to where, like I said, other gangs and other hoods start getting into it because of that. You know what I'm saying? So I think when it started off by motherfuckers getting robbed. You know what I'm saying? Money transaction and drugs. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's right. That's how it ended up.
Keep on going. I like this stuff. You know what I mean?
You know, so you know, once that happened, it was like they forgot that you done told this dude when you stay at. You forgot that you done pulled up in your neighborhood. You done pulled up in the neighborhood and seen, you know, where everybody's hanging at. You know what I'm saying? They forget these things, you know, when they doing business and transactions. You know, they forget the business orientated about it. They start taking it personal. You know, once if you rob me, I'm gonna take it personal too. You know, it ain't about, you know, where you from and none of that no more. It's about you disrespecting me. You robbed me. You took what I gave to you. You know, and just saying like, you know, F me, like I'm a punk or something. You know what I mean? And that's how them dudes took it. And they had every right to take it like that because I would have took it like that as well. You know? So once blood started getting shed, it was all over, man. I mean, you know, and there's no, it's like a puzzle. Once you break the puzzle up, it's hard to put the pieces back together.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, I like that because, you know, there's been a couple of OGs that came out that they have channels, right? And rather than try to deter the youngsters out there, man, and you know, there's been some shit starters on all sides, man, that are all at fault, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that you come on with a positive message and you keep it unbiased and you keep it real. And that's real important, man, because I'm up north, so I played no part in the southern politics. I'm just kind of intrigued by it because I've been out there. I have a lot of friends out there, and you know, I see some of the frivolous shit that goes on. That's kind of people want to portray it as being racial when a lot of times it's not even racial. It's basically hood and business.
Not racial, bro. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna keep it real, man. Like, you know, I got some real Southside that I fuck with, man. You know what I'm saying? I live in right now, I stay in the Florencias, man. You know what I'm saying? I know all of them. You know what I mean? They treat me like I'm one of they own. My mom is right there right now. They treat her like she's one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's been over there 20-some years. And it's not about no racial thing, man. It's about respect, man, and honor, man. And you respect them, they respect you. You know what I'm saying? And when they see that you family orientated, they family orientated too. You know what I mean? Now, and that's why I say, when you do something, you can't do something and then expect no repercussions behind it when you do something to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And that's been my my thing. Once I found out the true story of what was going on, because, you know, when you come to jail, everybody got a story, man. Everybody got a story to tell. You know what I'm saying? But it's the truth, their truth, and it's the actual fact of what's really going on. You know what I mean? And I found the actual fact of what's really going on because I talked to like some of the main people that call the shots. You know what I mean? I want to talk to the main people. I don't even talk to the little dudes and all that because I've been a little.
This call is being recorded.
I want to talk to the main people that's gonna tell me, hey, look, Shady, this what's going on right here. You know what I mean? Your peoples did this. You know what I'm saying? Now my peoples ain't told me that. See, they held that out and they act like the Spanish just came through and started tripping and no, man, they got robbed. You know what I'm saying? And when they got robbed, they did exactly what I would have do if you robbed me. I'm coming through and either you're gonna give me mine back or somebody gonna die.
Yes, right.
And, you know what I'm saying? And that's what they did, man. They thought they was playing. The dude left. He came up on a gang of pounds and shit and came up with some money and he left. They started splurging it to my peoples. You know what I'm saying? My peoples didn't think about the war. They wouldn't even prepare for it. You know what I'm saying? These dudes is preparing for war. If they had the means to supply you, why you don't think that they had the means to have these guns?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what they wasn't thinking about, man, because the dude that actually got hold of all that, what he got a hold of, you know, shit, he took his and ran with it. You know what I'm saying? Shit, he like, shit, I'm gone, man, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gone. But he forgot about his people.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? He forgot about his people. You know what I mean? His people didn't even, some of the people that he wasn't even involved in, didn't even know what was going on, died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He put his people in harm's way, being greedy.
Yep, most definitely, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's what happened, man. You know, they say greed is the root of all evil, man. Money and greed is the root of all evil. So when he created that, don't you know this man created that and he escaped. You know what I'm saying? He escaped. And everybody else had to pay the repercussion from it because they came through and started laying shit down. Now it's, oh man, the Hispanics is killing blacks. No, it wasn't happening before. So what happened? But nobody never wanted to tell that real story on what happened. Everybody just wanted to keep it up under the rug, like they just came through and just killed us and killed blacks and did this and did that. And no, it was a war behind that shit, man. It was a war, and it's always a war. No war never starts just like a fire. It always starts off with smoke first. You know what I mean? It's like the 18th streets and the Bloods. The same thing, man. You know, it's always got something to do.
This call is being recorded.
It always has something to do with some money and guns. You know what I'm saying? And drugs. It's always got something to do with that. It'll never have to do with, you know, man, we just got into it over burrito or, you know what I'm saying, or a female. If it has to do with a female, some drugs, and money.
Yeah.
Them are the worst three things, man.
Yep.
You know, because them dudes was tight too. Everybody, you gotta remember, everybody be tight first. It's always a tight-knitted thing. Everybody cool. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, having business together, programming and, you know, having fun and hanging out. And, you know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, it always takes one. It takes one to fuck up that relationship and by him doing something to anger that next person.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, yeah, man, it's never been no black and brown thing like that severe, man. You know what I mean? Them people got robbed and they retaliated. Retaliation turned into a full-fledged war, and it involved innocent bystanders that didn't have nothing to do with it, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, they just took it a little. They took it a little further than they could, but I mean, you can't tell nobody how to fight a war. You know what I'm saying? You trying to win a war once you start. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit. How you think how you think U.S. feel when they go fight these wars, and they ain't just trying to win the battle, they trying to win the war.
Yeah, most definitely. Anyways, this is all sounds good, man. But I appreciate your time. As you want to put your PFN number out there for people to write you.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you too. I want to give shout-outs, man. Let me give
some shout-outs.
Shout-outs to some people, man. You know, I want to give a shout-out, man, to my dearest friend, man, Asia. You know what I'm saying? She been a rock, man, since I've been behind these walls, man. You know, profound friend. You know, anytime I call her, man, she's right there to pick up that phone. You know, I want to give a shout out to my kids. You know what I'm saying? You know, I love y'all. And, you know, just thank you for all the listeners, man, that's listening and getting this 100% perspective, you know what I'm saying, from a convict, man, that's been through it, that's still going through it and trying to get out of it. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all, too. You know what I mean? My name, first name is Tony, Tony. Last name is Hundley, Hundley. Bookie number 5609489. P.O. Box 86164, Terminal Annex, Los Angeles, California 90086. Feel free, drop me a couple of lines. I'll drop it right back, and I appreciate y'all.
Most definitely. Okay, you guys out there have a good one, man. Stay tapped in, man. Probably have some more Shady Outlaw, man. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, brother.
For sure. I appreciate you too, bro.